We're back. Day 17. Spain are out of the World Cup. We finally got our shock result on the final day of the last 16. And actually, if you looked at that match, it wasn't too much of a shock result. Spain themselves were just not at the races. Not at the races. They're well able to pass the ball, but they're not able to put in a breaking pass. It would appear a defense breaking pass, I should say. Hot topics for today. Spain out. Inability to score due to that, should say, but okay, let's go with it. Ronaldo lets Portugal turn on the style. What next for Ronaldo after that? Who the heck is Gonzalo Ramos? And full quarter-final lineup is now complete, so we should have a look at that. And we've no football today. There's no football today, so that's going to be a little bit of a shock to the system. I believe a number of the Premier League teams will be playing friendlies later on today. I know Manchester United certainly are playing later tonight. Of course, that is minus their World Cup stars. I don't even think the likes of Christian Eriksen and those guys, who are already out of the tournament will be back in time because they need to have, I was about to say they need to have some time off for the summer, but it's not summer, of course, it's winter. And that's one of the things we kind of have to live with for this World Cup, trying to get used to the fact that it's actually winter and we have a World Cup and Christmas is just around the corner. Alrighty, I'm going to go straight into the results here. As you can see, it was 0-0 between Morocco and Spain. Morocco were very defensively set up. They came in to frustrate Spain and they did a very good job of it, I have to say. At the end of that, it was 3-0 to Morocco on penalties. Spain did not even score one single penalty. So not only were they not able to hit the back of the net within 120 minutes, so that's after extra time, but also they were not able to score a single penalty. Not even a single penalty. Is this is this the usual Spain that we're talking about? This just absolutely beggars belief as far as I'm concerned. I'm so surprised about this. I'm so surprised that Spain could not score in this match. I don't even know where to start on this. I really do not know where to start on this. This is so surprising to me. But anyway, it is what it is. So we had a complete lack of goals in that match. And then by stark comparison, we had a huge amount of goals coming in from Portugal predominantly in the later on match. So Portugal 6, Switzerland 1. What it means is it's Morocco versus Portugal in the next round. So we kind of miss out a little bit on that dream tie between Portugal and Spain, unfortunately. But sometimes that's just the way it goes. And so let's have a look at the stats behind these two matches. So Spain, this is interesting. Okay, this is very, very interesting, and you do have to wonder where Spain go from here. I know that certainly their manager, his contract is up after this World Cup. Can't imagine that they'll be looking to renew it now. Is it the players or is it the manager? As we've said many, many times, they're well able to pass the ball around and keep possession. It's just they don't have that killer final touch. They don't have the likes of Portugal to break through defences. So looking at the stats, very high percentage possession here for Spain. 68%, Morocco with 22%, and then there was 10% in contest, as you can see. Look at this goals. This is just absolute zero here for goals. Well, that's what you get with a 0-0. Then in terms of attempts and goals, so Spain are on the right hand side. So attempts and goal 13 versus 6. However, only one shot on target for Spain. One single shot on target. Incredible. 6 shots off target. Actually, by contrast, you can see that Morocco had 3 shots on target. And then look, all the stats are going to be skewed towards Spain. Final third entries, offers to receive, receptions between the midfield and the defensive lines, line breaks, not quite as comprehensive as some others. My goodness, they couldn't even win on the yellow card count. Look at that. 1 yellow card each. It was a relatively clean match, but it went to a penalty shootout, and it was dire. It was really, really dire. Morocco took the first penalty, scored. Spain proceeded to miss their first penalty. Morocco scored their second penalty. Spain missed their second penalty. Morocco missed their third penalty. Spain missed their third penalty. And Morocco scored their fourth penalty, which meant it was out of the reach of Spain. So Spain didn't even have the opportunity to take their fourth penalty. But, judging by the previous three, it wasn't looking good at all, Okay, then switching over to the goal fest. That was Portugal versus Switzerland. 6-1 in the end to Portugal, and Portugal just they looked good. Of course, this was a Portugal that started without Ronaldo. He did come on as a substitute later on in the match, didn't manage to get on the score sheet, but it was Ronaldo's replacement, Gonçalo Ramos, that scored a hat-trick. So this is the Ronaldo that has not scored a single goal in the knockout stages of the World Cup in his entire career for Portugal, and then he gets replaced by Ramos, who scores a hat-trick on his first knockout match. Okay, so not a good look for Ronaldo. So it was Ramos that opened the scoring on the 17th minute. Pepe then scored on the 33rd minute. Ramos again on the 51st minute. Guerrero scored on the 55th minute. Then a somewhat start of a comeback, perhaps, from Switzerland. It was Akanji that scored on the 58th minute. But no, Ramos came for his hat-trick, and he scored on the 67th minute. And then it was all wrapped up in the 92nd minute when Leao scored the sixth and final goal then for Portugal. So really setting a marker there, very similar to the way Brazil did the previous day. And Portugal, they have so many great, midfield type players that can really set up chances, and they have not a bad strike force either. To be perfectly honest, even when you look at the stats here, there's nothing really that's going to stand out apart from the goals for Portugal. Possession, Switzerland had slightly more possession, as you can see, and it's attempts on goal is what we need to look at here. 14 versus 10, but incredibly importantly, 9 shots on target from Portugal, of which they converted 6. So that's a 66.6666% conversion rate. That's fantastic. 1 shot on target for Switzerland. Yes, the eagle-eyed of you will say, well, that's a 100% conversion rate for Switzerland, but 1 shot on target really isn't good enough. A lot off target there. The left channel seemed to provide a lot of final third entries as well for Switzerland, but it all came to nothing. Whereas by comparison was more the right channel that Portugal were favouring. But then just looking through the stats, nothing here for me really stands out as being substantially different. Even attempted line breaks, 165 versus 167. It's very, very similar. A few more yellow cards there for Switzerland. Not too many yellow cards, only 2, so it's okay. Crosses completed much higher than for Portugal. So it's Portugal who advanced to the next round. And will Ronaldo be playing in the next match? That's the very big question I think that we all find ourselves asking at this moment in time. If we come back to our hot topic, so what next for Ronaldo? And that is the question. What next for Ronaldo? So he did come on as a substitute. We have heard as well from Santos, the manager of Portugal, how could I forget, that his relationship with Ronaldo is undamaged and that it's fine, it's unchanged, it's basically the way it always was. He did say that he was disappointed with how Ronaldo reacted after the South Korea match, but they had a clear the air conversation on Monday and the matter was resolved internally. However, despite this, Ronaldo did not start the match. And Ronaldo is the captain of Portugal, let's not forget that as well. There was a fan poll as well by a Portuguese newspaper, Ebola. Oh gosh, that sounds like a disease. I'm obviously pronouncing it wrong. So anyway, so 70% of the readers voted for Ronaldo not to start the match. And surprise, surprise, Portugal go ahead and put in that performance that we have just seen. So that's certainly an eye raiser. So we've no insight yet as to whether or not Ronaldo will play in the next match. I suspect he will. I think this was probably his disciplinary action. His attitude was quite good during the match yesterday. He was up, he was celebrating his teammates scoring goals. But do you drop Ramos for the next match? That's the very big question. Who is Ramos? We'll come on to that in a second. But just thinking about Ronaldo, he has also commented on this potential move that he's having to Saudi Arabia. So he's actually come out to say that no, it's not true, and it's just simply not true. And so he's still looking for a new club now. I'm sure there are negotiations and everything else happening in the background, and he'll know a lot more than he's letting on for sure. But he's claiming for the time being that he won't be going to Saudi Arabia on that multi-million-dollar deal. I think they were talking like $220 million, per year. Absolutely insane money, if that is indeed true. So that brings us on to the next story. Who is Gonzalo Ramos? Well, Gonzalo Ramos, he's a young player, as you can tell. He actually came up through the Benfica youth system. And actually, before yesterday's match, he had only played a total of 33 minutes for the Portuguese team. So he's very, very new to the whole setup there. He was an unused substitute as Portugal, when they lost out to South Korea. So that was interesting that he didn't even get on for that match. And I guess it was really as a result of Ronaldo being dropped. That was his big break. For Benfica, how has he done this season? Well, for Benfica, he has 14 goals and 6 assists from 21 games. And actually, he has 7 goals in his last 6 league appearances, so he's not bad at all. I wonder now if a few clubs will start to look at him as a young talent moving forward after his performance in this World Cup. When Ramos was asked after the match about Ronaldo, he said, "Cristiano Ronaldo talks to me and everyone in the team. He's our leader and always tries to help." So, he's certainly playing the party line when it comes down to that. Now, do you drop him for the next match? That's the big question. And for Morocco as well, when there's a goal scorer like that on the field, that'll make them think twice about what they're doing. Morocco, I think, would prefer an older, slower Ronaldo to start the match. It might actually suit their style a little bit more. But very hard to tell. Very hard to tell indeed. Now, as I was saying, we have the full quarterfinal lineup now confirmed. So let's go back to the screen share and just have a look at that before we end today's video. And if we come to the top, here we are, quarterfinals. So we have first up the matches on Friday, and actually it's not starting at the top, it's starting at the second. So Croatia and Brazil will take place at 3 o'clock on Friday. It's somewhat mouth-watering. I guess after Brazil's performance the other day, everybody thinks that Brazil are going to walk this one. Croatia, as we've said yesterday, or the day before, I should say, they are somewhat more street smart. They won't be taken advantage of as easily as South Korea were. You would suspect. You'd never know. We could be completely wrong on this. As ever, my predictions mean absolutely nothing. And, I don't ever put money on my predictions because I would ultimately lose a lot of money. So let's put it that way. Netherlands versus Argentina then at 7 o'clock on Friday. Very interesting. You'd have to fancy Argentina, but I don't think Netherlands have shown us their best yet, and so they could really be a stumbling block for Argentina here. So we'll finally get to see what the Netherlands are made of or not made of, as the case may be. Then the second set of quarterfinals takes place on Saturday, kicking off then with this one, Morocco versus Portugal. As I said, Morocco, very defensive. Will they put in a similar performance as they did against Spain? You would suspect that Portugal have more players capable of making that breakthrough, the likes of Bruno Fernandes, who can hit in a killer pass. And, even strikers. Portugal have some supremely good strikers. They have João Felix, we have Ronaldo, we have Ramos, who's now a new revelation that they have. Lots of players like that can easily score goals, and even their midfielders can score goals as well. And then later on Saturday, it's the big crunch fixture, England versus France, and I suspect potentially the winner of the World Cup is coming from that match. You never know how these things play out, but the excitement will be building for that one. And I'm based in Ireland, so we'll hear a lot about this through the English media as well in the build up to this. It'll be very skewed, I guess, towards England. They both have a very good chance. I just about fancy France for that one. I think they have a slightly better team, or a more killer strike force. Let's put it that way. I think Mbappe is the real deal. Harry Kane isn't quite up and running yet, but he did get a goal in the last match, and he's had a few assists. So he'll be there or thereabouts. But yeah, mouth-watering ties to come up. So that means no football for the next 2 days. What are we going to do? Well, I don't know. I don't know. We'll just have to get back into real life and realize that there is a whole world outside of football, I guess. Maybe we'll need some kind of counselling. I don't know. It's going to be tough. But look, I'm going to leave it there for now. Thank you very much for joining as ever. Hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and to like the video. Very important for the algorithm as well, because it helps us a lot. And as well, hit the bell if you want to be notified of future videos. And I will speak to you very, very soon. As ever, appreciate the support. And yeah, looking forward to football in 2 days' time. Talk to you later.